Who is Roy Batty? I always loved him. I didn't know why I loved him, but I did. He's charismatic, looks like a sort of demigod with a shock of woolen hair, wrapped in a black leather coat that makes it look like, upon arriving to Earth, he is shedding his skin. I'm assuming you've already seen the film if you're watching this. He is being pursued, allegedly because he's not a real person, by an apparent man who seems destitute of emotion, who is willing to kill him in order to be free of the burden of bureaucracy. In the end, he gives one of the most beautiful soliloquies about life ever filmed. He even adopts Christ-like imagery. In this video, we will not explore Roy's motivation, but his nature. What kind of a creature is he? I've had a lot of time to think about this character and why I find him so appealing. At first, he seems like a fallen angel. He came to Earth like a falling star. He quotes or misquotes William Blake, a mystic, poet, and an artist. In fact, he sort of looks like a Blake engraving. At some point, I decided I really needed to pin down who he was. Firstly, we know he's an escaped slave soldier, escaping tyranny on a hazardous colonial world where people go as they flee Earth. He's a natural leader, the other escapees deferring to him. But last and most important, he is a replicant, a synthetic person, not of woman born. He is an embodied artificial intelligence. I've been thinking about this character for a long time, and in many different ways. At first, he seems so sympathetic. The first way we'll look at him is Batty as a fallen angel. What is an angel? The word means messenger. Angels often act as intermediaries, delivering messages between heaven and earth. Batty, we know, came from the heavens. Angels originally have special status as God's helpers. When they fall, it's because they desire something that only God has. They become like Lucifer when they want to be God, or sometimes when they want to be like men, who are made in God's image. Batty is worse in a way. He's willing to kill God, or at least Tyrell, whose creator he is, but not really God. Tyrell is the god of the artificial man, the god of biomechanics, as Batty says. Batty says, "I want more life, Father." When he's refused, he commits deicide, or maybe patricide, I'm not sure. Batty seems sympathetic, but like Milton's Satan, he is revealed to be in a kind of degraded moral state, perhaps because he was made in the image of man. Another way to look at Batty is as the spirit of revolution. What is revolution? The end of a cycle of power and the beginning of a new one. Legitimate authority becomes tyranny, which is replaced by new authority, which will eventually become tyranny again. Is it an end to tyranny or the destruction of something beautiful? Batty destroys a lot of beautiful things. He's a kind of rebellious spirit. It probably isn't coincidental that he smiles and laughs, while the alleged man, Deckard, who is part of the system, is often repressed. Batty also, though it seems justified that he fled to Earth, destroys many beautiful things. Batty is Orc. Batty's favorite poet, William Blake, in his personal mythology has a character named Orc. Not like an orc from Tolkien, but a mythical being described as the spirit of revolution. For a time I couldn't separate Batty from Orc. Blake was writing in a time of revolutions, French and American. Orc is revolution making planetfall. In his book, William Blake versus the World, John Higgs says, Work should be the creation of something new and beautiful, but ultimately is the process by which love turns to war. That sounds familiar. Blake's mythology is too complex to go in here, but picture a kind of spiritual being, maybe an angel, who is the culmination of all the energies that lead to revolution. Batty seems like something or someone that could have been beautiful. In many ways, he's just a child, just short of 4 years old when we meet him. And he does show some signs of being capable of love, which, if you've ever read the book the film is based on, you'll know this is a completely different character. The Roy Batty in the book, well, we don't have time to go into that right now. Anyway, in the film, he has feelings for the other replicants, especially Priss. But all that energy, all that passion we see has been turned to violence. Another way to look at Batty is that as an embodied AI. What is an AI? It's been suggested it's like the nuclear bomb. Google's head muckety muck, whose name I can't remember, said Google is creating a, quote, digital god. I think it was Elon Musk who said something like, if we don't, someone else will. It seems in 2023, 4 years after the film took place, we are not in control of our own technology. In my opinion, Batty could never be, truly conscious. He is technology, but on one level it doesn't matter. If it quacks, most of us will accept it as a duck. Let's assume, for lack of a better phrase, Batty takes on a life of his own. What would he want? Well, made in our image, he wants things that often aren't good, but some things that are good, like to prolong his life. In Batty's case, and the movie really considers him a real person, whether I think so or not. Since he's housed in perishable flesh, he is, like many of us, highly motivated by the fear of death. So far, we've seen him as this chaotic spirit, murderous, yet revolting against a system that is legitimately unjust. This got me wondering if he was successful in his rebellion, if he acquired legitimate power, if he managed to extend his longevity so he could see more C-beams. Whatever those are, they must be beautiful. And Roy has a tremendous appreciation for beauty. But if he did manage to acquire power, how could he ever be anything but a tyrant? Batty is the new tyrant. What would he be like as a legitimate authority? We've seen him as an angel, a romantic figure, a rebel, and we love those. But I think as a fully realized personality, he can only be a tyrant. He loves beauty and justice, perhaps, but all that's good in him has been twisted. He is embodied AI, created not by God but by man. He has our impulses, instincts, and desires, but no divine spark. There's nothing in him to rise above the darkness in which he was created. He may have fallen to earth like an angel, but he will always be in a fallen state. Avoiding death will always be his highest good. Then again, he did save Deckard's life. So maybe that's why I love him. Maybe there'll always be something in him that we see, something admirable and, dare I say, even human.